They will urge you to speak, to share, to be open. They will praise transparency as if it were a virtue and call secrecy a sign of distrust. But the man who reveals his plans before the moment of execution is not noble. He is naive. Power is not earned by the one who speaks first, but by the one who listens and says nothing. In every court, in every council, in every circle of influence, the true operator conceals his intentions beneath a veil of pleasant lies, vague gestures, and misdirection. He nods, smiles, feigns agreement, and speaks in riddles because he understands a simple truth. The more they know, the more they can stop you. To reveal your plan is to invite sabotage. To speak too early is to give your enemies time. And time, in the hands of your rival, is a weapon sharper than your ambition. Men are addicted to applause. They seek validation like dogs beg for scraps. They reveal their ambitions too early, not out of strategy, but out of pride. They wish to be seen, recognized, praised for a victory not yet achieved. This is a fatal weakness. Praise is the drug that softens resolve. The moment your plan is known, it becomes a target. Jealousy sharpens, opposition awakens, and your enemies, who might have remained dormant, are suddenly alive with purpose. A man should never speak of what he has not yet accomplished. To do so is to raise expectations and give others the power to judge you before you are ready. Keep them guessing, let them misunderstand you. When they cannot predict you, they cannot block you. When they are confused, you are in control. The cunning ruler speaks often, but reveals little. He tells stories, shares anecdotes, offers compliments, but he buries his real intentions beneath layers of irrelevance. It is not silence that protects power. It is noise, deliberate noise, misdirection. He does not remain mute like a monk. He speaks, yes, but only to create a fog. Within that fog, he moves unseen. People believe they want honesty. What they really want is certainty, and the Machiavellian man gives them neither. He leaves them in suspense, gives just enough to pacify, and holds back the rest with surgical discipline. Because once a plan is known, it becomes vulnerable to sabotage not only from rivals but from allies. Even friends can ruin you with a careless word, a misinterpreted hint, or a moment of envy. The safest plan is the one they think does not exist. Every ambitious man must understand this. No one truly wants you to rise. Not completely. They may clap when you speak of dreams, but watch their faces when you start achieving them. Their smiles will twitch. Their eyes will narrow. Suddenly your dreams are no longer cute. They are threatening. If they know your next move, they will try to outmaneuver you. They will warn others, cast doubts, plant seeds of resistance. The clever man proceeds in silence, not because he is afraid, but because he is precise. He does not show his sword before the strike. He does not parade his maps before the war. He plans, he prepares, and only when it is too late to stop him does the world learn what he intended. And by then, they can only react, not prevent. That is control. Do not confuse honesty with virtue. The fox survives not by announcing its path, but by vanishing into the underbrush. The lion attacks not by sending letters, but by leaping. Your words are currency. Spend them wisely. Every truth you give away is a coin in the hand of your enemy. And no enemy should be given tools. The man who cannot hold his tongue cannot hold power. You must learn to take pleasure in your silence. Let it become your shield. Let others chatter. Let them leak their goals. Let them be intoxicated by their own voice. You, in contrast, will walk in stillness. They will wonder, they will worry, they will whisper, and all the while, you will advance undisturbed. There is also a pleasure, a certain cruel satisfaction in watching them guess, in watching them huddle together, trying to decode your movements. Their confusion is your safety. Their uncertainty is your leverage. When no one knows your destination, every road becomes a possibility. This forces them to cover too many paths. They waste time, energy, and alliances trying to anticipate you, and in that waste, they weaken themselves. It is not merely protection, it is a strategy of erosion. Let them erode themselves in pursuit of your ghost, because when you finally strike, you will not only hit the target, you will find it defenseless, disoriented, disarmed. Let others boast, let others broadcast. You are not them, you are not seeking attention, you are seeking dominion. You do not trade truth for likes or plans for premature praise. You understand that power is not given to the loudest voice, but to the last move. And the last move belongs to the one who waited. the one who endured silence, the one who bit his tongue while others sang. Because in the end, it is not the man who talks that shapes the world, it is the man who moves unseen. And here is the cruel paradox. Those who speak often are believed less. The more a man reveals, the more ordinary he becomes. His words begin to lose weight. His intentions, once mysterious, are now dissected, debated, and diluted. He is no longer feared, only understood. And there is no power in being understood. Power thrives in ambiguity. It feeds on doubt. When they know what you want, they can calculate. But when they are unsure, when they must guess, every move you make becomes a storm. You become larger than life. Your silence becomes a myth. They whisper about you in rooms you've never entered. They attribute genius to your patience. They see strategy in every delay. This is the art of creating legend, not through excess but through absence. Let your silence echo louder than their speeches. Your enemies will look for patterns. They will study your behavior, your routines, your relationships. They will try to decode your rhythm, break it, alter your pace, confuse their calculations. Let them believe you are impulsive one day, methodical the next. Smile at a rival before you cut off his influence. Praise an ally before you let him fall. In every great power play, misdirection is the sharpened edge. Do not fight on one front. Appear weak where you are strongest. Appear bored where you are focused. Appear generous where you intend to take. The silent strategist is not quiet because he has nothing to say. He is quiet because he sees too much. And the more he sees, the less he must speak. What they don't hear, they cannot stop. What they cannot name, they cannot kill. In a world of noise, silence becomes violence. It unsettles. It provokes suspicion. And suspicion makes others act rashly. This is what you want. Let them feel uneasy. Let them make the first move. The man who speaks first always bleeds first. Make them overstep. Make them reveal themselves while you watch in perfect stillness. Restraint is not passivity. It is power waiting for precision. A general does not charge because he is angry. He waits until the field is shaped in his favor. Then, and only then, does he strike. And his strike is final. Finality requires silence. If you are speaking, you are not watching. If you are watching, you are learning. Speak less, learn more, act once. Most men are ruled by their need to be perceived as good, as honest, as transparent. But these virtues, if used without measure, are vulnerabilities. The predator who disguises himself as prey survives longer. The diplomat who smiles while plotting conquest wins more cities than the one who shouts for war. Control your image. Say enough to satisfy, never enough to expose. Your greatest protection is confusion. Let them struggle to define you. Let them argue over your motives. While they drown in speculation, you build your bridge. While they debate your ethics, you seize the throne. This is not cruelty, it is design. History is not written by the transparent, it is written by the victorious. The tragedy of the modern man is that he speaks before he acts. He tells the world his dreams before he lifts a single finger. He shares blueprints, ambitions, timelines, all under the delusion that openness is noble. But nobility without power is a joke. To announce your intentions is to hand over the weapons of your own defeat. Imagine telling your opponent where you will strike before the battle. Imagine showing your vault combination before the heist. The world does not reward honesty, it exploits it. Speak only when the reward outweighs the risk. And until then, wear a mask, a kind one, a forgettable one. Let them dismiss you, let them think you have no teeth, until it's too late. Even your allies must be kept in check. Do not give your full plan to anyone. Not because they are evil, but because they are human. Humans slip, humans talk, humans change. And even if they remain loyal, their knowledge can be extracted by others, through persuasion, manipulation, or force. Every man you trust with your secrets is a potential door for your enemies. Shut those doors. Share fragments, never the whole. Test loyalty with misinformation. See who repeats what. Mark those who leak. Reward those who remain silent. Your empire will not fall from a sword, it will fall from a whisper if you are not careful. The strongest men in history were not those who roared, but those who whispered when the room demanded screams. Power does not need to declare itself. It is felt. It radiates through restraint. The emperor who reveals nothing forces the court to interpret everything. They begin to wonder, to doubt, to compete in their attempts to anticipate him. And this uncertainty binds them. It keeps them obedient. It keeps them off balance. If they cannot predict you, they cannot rebel. If they cannot read you, they cannot betray you with precision. They will hesitate, and in hesitation they lose. Your silence becomes their leash. Those who wish to be feared should never be fully known. Familiarity softens awe. The more they see you, the more they understand you, the less they obey. Distance, emotional, strategic, intellectual, is a weapon. Create mystery. Withdraw at the height of attention. Let their curiosity ferment into obsession. The more they want to understand you, the more they will stay close. And the closer they are, the easier they are to control. This is not deception for its own sake. It is the design of dominance. The man who reveals nothing can become anything. The man who reveals everything is trapped in the cage of his own openness. A ruler must never forget that loyalty is not guaranteed. It is purchased, negotiated, or manufactured through necessity. If they know your plan, they know when they are no longer needed. They know when to flee, when to switch sides, when to undercut you before their usefulness expires. But if they do not know your endgame, they remain dependent. They serve, not out of love, but out of uncertainty. They wait, hoping to secure their place in a future they cannot predict. That is leverage. That is rule by shadow. The greatest kings did not build thrones, they built illusions. The illusion of inclusion, the illusion of reward, the illusion of transparency. But behind it all, they carried a private map, a hidden intention, a destiny spoken only in solitude. Ask yourself, why do you feel the urge to speak your plans? It is not strategy. It is ego. It is weakness masked as confidence. You want to be seen. You want your ambition acknowledged. But acknowledgement from the world is worthless until the victory is yours. Speak of nothing, achieve everything. The graveyards are filled with men who revealed too much too soon, killed not by sword but by echo. Learn from their silence, not their speeches. The grave keeps secrets better than the living, and those who win in this life are those who keep their mouths shut and their moves hidden until the crown is already theirs. You will be tempted, especially when you're close to success. That is when the voice in your head will grow louder, begging you to share, to impress, to flaunt what you've built. Resist it. Nothing is more fragile than a nearly completed plan exposed too early. That is when rivals sharpen their blades. That is when hidden enemies become bold. When the scent of your success leaks into the air, it draws wolves, not applause. And wolves do not celebrate your rise. They circle, they test, they attack. So let them stay hungry. Feed them rumors, feed them lies, feed them silence, but never feed them truth. Mastery of silence is not cowardice. It is cruelty refined into discipline. It is the art of watching your enemies speak in circles while you gather everything and reveal nothing. Every question they ask is a mirror. They are showing you their weakness, their fear, their obsession with your next step. Smile, nod, say nothing. The more they ask, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more precise your strike will be. Let them exhaust themselves. Let them make their move first, then crush them, calmly, completely, without warning. In the end, your plan should arrive like a shadow across the land. Inevitable, silent, too late to stop. And when they ask, why didn't we see this coming? Let your silence be the answer. Because the world does not belong to the loud. It belongs to the quiet minds who move in darkness while others sleep. It belongs to those who plan in silence, strike with precision, and speak only once the crown is already in their hands. You must understand, speech is a transaction. Every word is a payment. When you reveal your plans, you are trading away power for attention, for approval, for applause. And applause does not fortify you, it weakens you. It makes you addicted to external affirmation. The more you speak of what you will do, the more pressure you place upon yourself to meet those expectations. And pressure is the enemy of clarity. It clouds your vision. It makes you reactive. But when your plans remain hidden, you are free. Free to change direction. Free to evolve. Free to move without warning. Power requires that flexibility. The man who speaks too early has already chosen his battlefield. The man who stays silent can choose any battlefield he pleases. Let them call you secretive. Let them accuse you of being distant, guarded, even cold. These are compliments. These are signs that you are no longer dancing for their amusement. You are designing for your ascent. Warmth is a tool, not a constant. When you are too open, you become familiar, and familiarity breeds contempt. Keep them at a distance. Let them admire your presence, but never feel your full intentions. Let them see the edges, never the center. They must crave more than they understand. It is this hunger that keeps them near, that keeps them guessing, and it is in that guessing that your power grows. Beware the man who asks you too many questions. He is not curious, he is calculating. He is gathering weapons disguised as interest. When they prod, deflect. When they praise, redirect. When they offer their own secrets, do not reciprocate. It is bait. The more you know about others, and the less they know about you, the wider the gap of control becomes. Use this imbalance. Use their openness as their vulnerability. Let them speak themselves into corners. Let them confess, overreach, reveal. You stay still. Observe. File away every detail. And when the time comes, your silence will speak through action, and your action will be unanswerable. It is not enough to keep your plans secret. You must also master the art of false exposure. At times, let them think they have uncovered something. Leak fragments, half-truths, misleading clues. Let them feel clever. Let them believe they are gaining ground. This belief will lull them. It will blind them to the real movement beneath. A distracted enemy is a vulnerable one. Let them believe the battle is elsewhere. Let them rush to defend what you have no interest in attacking. And while they fortify shadows, you advance on substance. That is how empires are built, not just in silence but in illusion. Control the narrative by starving it. When others know nothing, they begin to invent stories, rumors, theories. They project their own fears, their own desires onto your silence, and this is to your advantage. Their projections are more powerful than the truth. They will overestimate you, underestimate you, see things that aren't there, all because you gave them nothing to grasp. And in that nothingness, they build monsters. They assign you powers you may not even possess. Use this. Let your myth grow while you remain invisible. The man they fear is always more useful than the man they understand. But remember, this is not a game of paranoia. It is a discipline. You are not hiding because you are afraid. You are hiding because you are building. Because great works are born in silence. The most magnificent cathedrals rise stone by stone before a single bell is heard. So too must your empire. Construct it quietly. Plan it in solitude. Let your nights be long, your maps detailed, your steps rehearsed. But let the world see none of it. Let them sleep while you lay the foundation. Let them mock your silence and laugh at your restraint. When they finally wake, let them see a citadel where yesterday there was air, and by then, it will be too late to resist. And when the world finally asks how you did it, how you rose, how you moved, how you conquered, smile, say nothing, let your silence continue, because the moment they know the method, they can replicate it, or worse, destroy it. Protect your philosophy as you protect your throne, share the illusion, guard the truth, and keep your next move buried in the dark, where no light and no enemy can touch it. There is a reason why kings employ spies, why emperors read letters meant for others, why conquerors build walls around their councils, because information is not a luxury, it is survival. To know what others intend while keeping your own intentions hidden is the ultimate asymmetry. In every negotiation, every alliance, every supposed friendship, there is a silent war of disclosure. Who reveals first loses leverage, who reveals last writes the terms. Your aim is not to eliminate this game, it is to master it. Understand that even in silence you are speaking. Your presence, your expressions, your posture, all signal something, so you must learn to mute even the unspoken. Be unreadable. Let your face betray nothing. Let your demeanor become your first line of defense. If they cannot read your face, they will try your words. And when they fail there too, they will grow nervous. That nervousness is the seed of obedience. Do not seek intimacy with the world. It is a seductive trap. Intimacy demands that you open yourself, that you reveal your fears, your goals, your weaknesses. But what is given in the name of closeness can be used in the name of conquest. Guard your interior like a fortress. Not even the closest advisors should know the full map. Remember, today's ally may become tomorrow's liability, and the one who knows too much can be turned against you with the slightest shift of wind. Even loyalty has a breaking point. Protect yourself with obscurity. Disclose only what cannot be weaponized. Everything else is sacred, private, untouchable. There will come moments when silence is not enough, when others demand answers, when the pressure to speak becomes unbearable. In these moments, you must learn the art of the controlled response. Say something that sounds like an answer, but gives away nothing. Speak in principles, not plans. Offer reflections, not specifics. Turn the conversation back on them. Let them speak more. Let them feel satisfied while you reveal nothing. Master the illusion of cooperation. Make them believe they've been let in, while they remain blindfolded. That is how you escape scrutiny, while preserving trust. That is how you deceive without lying. To rule effectively, you must also understand the theater of power. Appearances are tools. At times, you will need to appear open, even vulnerable. This is calculated weakness, a wolf in sheep's humility. Let them underestimate you. Let them believe you lack ambition, that you have no greater design. Feed this illusion with well-timed acts of modesty. Perform simplicity. Downplay your strengths. And when the time comes to strike, they will be paralyzed by their own misjudgment. The surprise will do more damage than the blow. Never underestimate the psychological power of being underestimated. The greatest rulers are not those who dominate through force, but those who guide by mystery, who keep their people close yet never familiar, who lead with charisma yet never fully reveal the source. There must always be a gap between you and them, a distance that cannot be crossed. It is in this space that awe is born. Awe is the gateway to loyalty. Not through love, not through fear, but through wonder. When they wonder about you, they hesitate to oppose you. And in that hesitation, your power solidifies. You are not simply a man with a plan, you become a force they cannot define. Never forget, even time can betray you. A plan revealed too early can spoil not because of opposition, but because of erosion. The longer a spoken intention remains unrealized, the weaker it becomes. Words grow stale, their magic decays. The plan begins to rot under the weight of expectation. Momentum fades, doubt enters. You must protect your ideas from time itself by concealing them until execution is inevitable. Speak only when the movement is already in motion, when the train has left the station and no one can derail it. Then speak with calm finality, then reveal, but only to declare that the deed is done. And after victory, maintain restraint. Do not suddenly become transparent. Let your triumph raise more questions than it answers. Let them wonder how you managed it. Let them argue whether it was brilliance, luck, or divine favor. Offer no clarification. The mystique you preserve after victory is worth more than any confession, because while they chase your shadow, you are already planning the next conquest. And that, above all, is the lesson. Never reveal your plans. Not before, not during, not even after. Keep them guessing. Keep them off balance. Keep them beneath you. You will notice that those who reveal the most often achieve the least. Their energy is spent on explanation rather than execution. They mistake movement of the mouth for movement of the hand. They believe that being understood is a substitute for being effective. But in the arena of power, understanding is irrelevant. Only results speak. The battlefield does not care about your intentions. It rewards precision, not confession. And so the wise man grows quieter with each victory. Not because he has nothing to say, but because he understands that silence is the final luxury of the triumphant. Even in defeat, you must preserve the mystique of silence. Let them speculate about why you failed. Was it miscalculation? Was it betrayal? Was it intentional? The more uncertain they are, the more control you retain. A clear failure invites pity. An ambiguous one invites fear. And fear, in small doses, is more useful than pity in large ones. Let your rivals walk away unsure whether they truly won. Let them feel uneasy about what you might do next. This lingering doubt is your shield, even in loss. Never show them the full weight of your intentions, not in triumph, not in setback. Concealment is not a tactic, it is a doctrine. There will always be voices urging you to share, to collaborate, to trust. Be wary of these voices. They often wear the mask of wisdom, of community, of transparency, but behind them lies a hunger for access, for advantage, for leverage. They will call you paranoid, call you closed. But what they fear is not your silence, it is the fortress behind it. Weak men mock what they cannot penetrate. They call your quiet unnatural, your strategy manipulative. Let them, Your task is not to be liked. It is to win, and winners are rarely loud before the finish line. Consider this. The greatest shocks in history came not from announced invasions, but from silent ones. Not from the public threat, but the unspoken danger. Caesar crossed the Rubicon not with speeches, but with steps. Napoleon returned from exile not with a declaration, but with a march. Power moves in silence because silence bypasses resistance. The louder you are, the more opposition you awaken. But when you move quietly, by the time they understand what you've done, you've already won. That is how power operates, not in noise, but in inevitability. And so your life must become a labyrinth of half-truths, withheld intentions, and veiled direction. Not because you are evil, but because you are effective. The world is not a stage for your dreams. It is a field of traps, waiting to consume the man who shows too much. You must become a shadow among silhouettes, a whisper among screams. You must train your face to smile while your mind calculates. Train your tongue to flatter while your will remains untouched. Every movement you make should carry two meanings, one for the world and one for yourself. The outer for misdirection, the inner for domination. If they ask you where you're going, tell them a direction you have no intention of traveling. If they ask what you want, give them a goal that distracts from your real one. Let them build their defenses in all the wrong places. Let them waste their strength guarding shadows. You do not owe the world your truth. Truth in the wrong hands is a weapon against its speaker. Let your enemies drown in their assumptions. Let them prepare for storms that never come. Meanwhile, you become the quiet force that bends the entire landscape without ever announcing your presence. And in your final breath, should it come with crowns on your head or daggers in your back, let them wonder still. Let them write books. Let them argue in dark rooms about what you truly wanted. Let your name echo with ambiguity. Because in the end, the greatest power is not in what they knew about you, but in what they never could. If you've made it this far, it's because a part of you already understands what others still resist. A part of you knows that revealing too much has only ever led to regret, that silence isn't weakness, it's protection. And the moment you choose secrecy over validation, power over approval, you begin to walk a different path. Now tell me in the comments, are you ready to be doubted, misunderstood, even feared, if it means keeping your power intact? Are you willing to stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve your blueprint? If this message struck a chord, if it woke something deep in you, then write in the comments, I move in silence. Let's see how many of you are done performing. How many are ready to rule your life without asking for permission? And whatever you do, don't stop here. Watch the next video. It's more important than you think. I'll see you there.